I've been watching productivity Twitter for years now, and something has started to bother me. Every week brings a new system, a fresh framework, another methodology promising to unlock your potential through better organization. Time-blocking disciples share their color-coded calendars, getting things done evangelists debate the merits of different capture tools. The Notion maximalists build increasingly elaborate databases to track their habit streaks and daily metrics. The most effective people I know don't use any of these systems. They work from simple notebooks, or sometimes just from memory. Their desks are often empty. When you ask them about their productivity setup, they look confused by the question. This disconnect has led me to a hypothesis. What if we've been optimizing for the wrong thing entirely? What if the secret isn't doing more things faster, but thinking more clearly about which things matter? What if there's a completely different approach to work that nobody talks about because it looks like laziness from the outside? I'm calling this approach clarity maxing, the practice of optimizing for cognitive sharpness rather than output volume. The modern productivity ecosystem rests on a fundamental assumption that knowledge work is like factory work, and that the goal is to maximize throughput. And this leads to some strange behaviors. People spend hours optimizing their morning routines like athletic training regimens. They measure their days in completed tasks rather than insights generated or problems solved. But knowledge work isn't manufacturing. The goal isn't to produce more widgets per hour. The goal is to have better ideas, make better decisions, and solve harder problems. These outcomes depend on the quality of your thinking, not the efficiency of your task management. Consider what happens when you optimize for throughput. You batch similar tasks together, you minimize transition time between activities, and you eliminate idle moments. You respond to emails quickly, you attend meetings promptly, you ship work as soon as it's good enough. All of this makes perfect sense if you're running a factory. But if you're trying to solve complex problems or generate original insights, this approach is counterproductive. Complex problems require time to percolate. Original insights emerge from unexpected connections. The best solutions often come during moments of apparent inactivity. Charles Darwin figured this out in the 1840s. At his estate in Kent, he created what he called his thinking path, a circular gravel track through a small wood. Every day, he would walk this path multiple times, dropping a pebble at a marker each lap. And the pebbles weren't for gamification or habit tracking, they were to free his mind from counting so he could focus on whatever scientific problem occupied him. Darwin's neighbors thought he was eccentric. Here was a man who could afford to do anything, and he chose to walk in circles for hours each day. But Darwin understood something about the nature of thinking that we've forgotten. The mind's highest functions require specific conditions. They need space, silence, and the absence of urgency. The Origin of Species was written in decades of careful observation, patient reflection, and long walks around a muddy path in the English countryside. Darwin wasn't optimizing for daily output. He was optimizing for the quality of his understanding. Recent research in cognitive neuroscience supports what clarity maxers intuitively understand. The brain has two primary modes of operation: focused attention and diffuse attention. Focused attention helps us execute known procedures efficiently. Diffuse attention allows us to make novel connections between disparate concepts. The productivity optimization approach maximizes focused attention. It eliminates distractions, batches similar tasks, and maintains consistent engagement with work. And this approach is excellent for processing known information quickly, but it's terrible for generating anything new. Breakthrough thinking requires diffuse attention. It emerges during moments of mental wandering, in the shower, on walks, during boring meetings. These moments feel unproductive because nothing visible is happening. But they are when the mind performs its most important work: pattern recognition, connection making, and insight generation. The clarity maxer builds these moments into their regular routine. They don't treat mental wandering as a luxury to be minimized. They recognize it as an essential component of effective thinking. We can distill this into a practice, and it starts with environmental obsession. Clarity maxers are ruthless about their physical and digital environments. They maintain spaces that support deep thinking: minimal visual clutter, comfortable seating, natural light. Their digital environments are equally curated. They use aggressive content filtering, maintain minimal app installations, and often work offline for extended periods. While productivity culture emphasizes consuming more information faster, clarity maxers are selective about inputs. They read fewer sources, but engage more deeply with each, and they prefer primary sources over summaries, books over articles, direct experience over secondhand reports. They regularly audit their information sources, eliminating anything that doesn't genuinely enhance their thinking. Rather than optimizing for busy schedules, clarity maxers optimize for cognitive cycles. They identify their natural rhythms of mental energy and structure their days accordingly. Many maintain very regular sleep schedules and protect their peak cognitive hours for their most important work. Clarity maxers measure success differently. They care more about the insight quality of their work than its volume, and they're willing to spend days refining a single paragraph if it captures an important idea precisely. They often delete or abandon work that doesn't meet their standards, rather than rushing to publish it. There's a social dimension here. Clarity maxers are highly selective about meetings, declining invitations that don't clearly advance their thinking or their work. And when they do attend meetings, they come prepared with specific questions and objectives. They know what they're doing there. They communicate with unusual directness and brevity. Their emails get to the point quickly and ask for exactly what they need. They avoid small talk in professional contexts, preferring to use social time for genuine connection rather than performative false networks. This selectivity can appear antisocial to those accustomed to constant collaboration and communication, but clarity maxers argue that their focused attention makes them more valuable collaborators when they do engage. They bring fresh perspectives to problems precisely because they haven't been immersed in the daily churn of organizational busy work. There's an uncomfortable question here. How much of our busy work is actually necessary? When we eliminate the performance of productivity, what remains? The clarity maxer's answer is unsettling. Often, very little. Most meetings could be emails. Most emails could be eliminated entirely. Most daily tasks are busy work that exists to justify other busy work. The clarity maxer cuts through this recursive nonsense by asking a simple question. Does this activity improve my thinking or decision making? And if not, why am I doing it? There is a paradox to effort. And this is the most striking aspect of clarity maxing, how effortless it appears from the clarity maxer doesn't seem to be working particularly hard, and yet their output is consistently high quality. They don't appear stressed or overwhelmed. They take breaks without guilt. They maintain boundaries between work and personal time. The effortlessness itself is a form of optimization, but optimization for sustainable peak performance rather than short-term output maximization. The clarity maxer recognizes that cognitive fatigue degrades decision quality and creative capacity. They structure their work to maintain mental freshness rather than pushing through exhaustion. And this challenges some deeply held assumptions about work and achievement. We've been conditioned to equate effort with virtue, busyness with importance, and optimization with complexity. The clarity maxer's simple, spacious approach can seem almost subversive in a culture that rewards visible Calvinistic struggle. We are staring down a growing list of existential questions. Are we trying to maximize the quantity of our output or the quality of our thinking? Are we optimizing for the appearance of productivity or for genuine insight and impact? I think we can reach for some foundational answers. Cognitive sharpness trumps cognitive speed. Understanding matters more than urgency. Depth beats breadth. Facing the domination of AI-generated content and algorithmic optimization, the human capacity for clear, original thinking becomes essential, almost beyond measurable worth. The productivity industrial complex will continue to generate new systems and tools promising ever greater efficiency and output. But the opportunity lies in the opposite direction, in slowing down enough to think clearly, in creating space for insight to emerge, and in recognizing that the mind's highest functions require not more stimulation, but more silence. The clarity maxer understands what every good scientist knows. Sometimes the solution isn't to collect more data, it's to think more clearly about the data you already have. And in that clarity lies the possibility of genius.